You're listening to KCYP 97.7 The City. This is Scarlet Rose, and you're now listening to RGV Rocks. This is KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City. This is Scarlet Rose on RGV Rocks. KCYP 97.7 FMLP The City is a nonprofit organization that promotes local artists such as myself and is the home of indie music. We are now accepting donations to our website, www.thecity977.com, as well as sponsorships to keep this radio station thriving. For more information on paying donations, sponsorships, or best in advertisement, feel free to contact Joe Martinez at 956-789-0702 or by email at martinezjoe@hotmail.com. I will be leaving the donation links in the description below if you guys want to donate to the station. We usually call it the city, not to be confused with the city McAllen, but it's the city. So if you want to donate to our station, feel free to do so. For the people that don't know who we are, what we do, RGV Rocks is a radio show and now an online podcast dedicated to local talent, events, and all the wonderful people in the RGV, such as you and I. Today we have a very special guest, also going by the name of Vince Spano. So how are you doing today?
How's it going? I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. What's it called? I'm so sorry that Rudy cannot be here today. This is like the first time he calls in sick. So I was like, oh no, Rudy. Yeah. Like, he was really excited to do this interview too. So I was like, oh no. It usually happens because it's like cold and flu season already. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, but without further ado, what's it called? Let's get this show on the road. So, Vince, I know that you're from Brownsville, and I usually ask all this question, and it's a very infamous question here on our show. What do you like about the RGV and why?
It's our own little bubble. It's kind of like, it's unlike anywhere else in the world. It's I know that's kind of cliche to say, but it kind of is true. You go everywhere and it's like the culture is just so different. It's its own thing. Like, you go home and it's kind of like I get away from everything and I go home and I'm kind of like in my little bubble and I'm nice and safe, and it's beautiful. I love it.
I've noticed that while we were talking before the show actually started. So I know that you went to Austin recently, and then you're coming back, and then you're going back to Austin. How is that life like different from, being in the Valley?
It's night and day almost. It's immediately, because I'm from here, from Brownsville, and it's not a big town. So going to Austin, it's like, it's overwhelming at first, and like you kind of need a GPS to go everywhere, even around the corner. But it's fun because it's like how many different people you meet. Here it's kind of like you kind of know everybody that you're gonna know, and everybody knows everyone. And over there, it's kind of like every night that you go out and play shows or work in the studio, you're meeting new artists, and it's like they're all from different places. Because it's kind of like, I haven't met many people from Austin that are from Austin. They're just usually from everywhere else, and they move to Austin. And it's just fun to meet them, hear their stories, and like share just a bunch of moments with a bunch of people you never would have met.
It's like that. I know that we were talking like even like before the whole interview started. For people that don't know, I'm now in San Marcos, and I've been living like from like away from the Valley for a bit because of like school and stuff like that. And ever since like I transferred, it's been a different game here, like near Austin. It's like I remember going to like my first concert by myself, and I was kind of freaked out because when I went to Austin, I just saw all these like big cities, and I was, well, not big cities, big buildings, there we go, big buildings, and I just kind of freaked out because it's like, wow, it's kind of like our own little New York in Texas, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So you started taking music seriously a couple years ago, or a year ago?
I'd say so. About I think like, because I had a couple projects when I was in high school. In my senior year, I formed a band called Creekwood.
Oh, okay.
And we played some shows, around the Valley, and kind of, did the show thing, like trying to build our little fan base here. And I think that's really what pushed me to be like, let me go ahead, and this can really be something. Like, people are showing up, people are liking the music, people are singing along to songs that we wrote in the living room. I think this could really be something. So I just thought, I really wanted to move out to Austin and chase it and see where it can take me. And I decided to do that this past year. And I'm actually today is November 6th, so today is the day that I moved to Austin
Oh
last year.
my gosh. And that was a year
And
ago or a
yeah,
couple?
exactly
Oh
exactly
my
1 year ago.
gosh. Dang. So it's already
And
been a year since you've done
uh-huh.
that. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting.
Man,
Mhm.
it's been a ton of fun. I've gotten to meet a lot of great friends over there and play some great shows and meet some great people. It's been a lot of fun, but I know like this is just the beginning, and I'm excited to see where it's gonna go.
I know that you talked about having like your own band before. When did
Mhm.
you start feeling that you needed to go like solo?
It was kind of because we're still like great friends, and we
Mhm.
still play together, and they actually still play with me in live shows. It's just the thing was taking this a little bit like more seriously and doing this or trying to do this full
Mhm.
time. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody. Other people have like different, you know, goals in mind, and uh some friends, they were sticking around and doing some their own thing, and totally uh that's totally okay, and we were still able to be great friends and
Mhm.
still play together. But I think it was just at one point I thought to myself like, this is great, I love playing here, and I love like everybody who comes out to the shows, but what I want and what I have in mind for myself, or what I've always wanted, was just to be able to do this for a living. And I thought like the best way to do that was to go out and broaden my horizons a little bit.
I know that I think a lot of people that come onto like our station and as well as our show, we've had like a lot of people take music seriously like after that because
Mhm.
they realize that once you get interviewed or anything like that or help um boost your your audience within like your music and stuff like that, you need to kind of start taking like music a little bit more seriously at this point
Yeah,
because like I don't know if it relates to everybody, especially within like a musician, but like I feel that music is like a passion and
definitely.
it's not really much of a hobby. It's more of like, you kind of have to do it if you really,
Yeah.
really like music. And if you want to take it seriously, that's amazing.
Just it's its own kind of lifestyle. Like it's like I don't really see myself doing anything else. Like I went to school. I went to a medical high school to like go to medical school and do like the whole doctor thing. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool. But like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I like the guitar. I don't see myself doing a whole lot more.
Did you always like want to become like a somebody in the medical field or how did that go about from like switching to medical to like music?
So I always wanted to be a musician. That was always the thing for me, but I never really knew anything really about me. I just loved music. I loved writing music ever since I was a kid. I learned English by like listening to Eminem on like
Oh
a
my
cassette
gosh.
tape that I had. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I didn't know English at all, but I learned English that way. And I would love writing. And at the time, I was like, just trying to rap because I listened to Eminem and a bunch of rap back in the day. And then I like just throughout the years, just through listening, it just I just kind of felt a bit of a connection to it, more than connection to even other people, because I wasn't necessarily like the most popular kid in school or anything like that. And I just kind of found myself, listening to music by myself a lot of the time. And it wasn't really until I got into high school that I feel like, sometimes parents will have like a certain idea of what they want their kids to be. And that's totally great. That's totally fine. And I love my parents, and they were just kind of like, why don't you, try like medical school or like like something in the medical field. And I was little, so I was just like, sure, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I went to high school and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but I think that was the time. High school was definitely the years where I kind of fell in love with playing guitar. Uh, I picked that up and I was like, wait, hold up, I can maybe sing a little bit. And then I kind of started developing that. And at that time, I kind of felt like life was moving very quickly. And I don't know if like, I feel like a lot of high school kids feel that way, that life kind of like moves super fast. And I found myself kind of writing a lot about that, and feeling like, I feel like when you go through that, you kind of feel like you're going through it alone. But then with time, I'm like, I think maybe people will really connect to this, and maybe some people do feel the same way. Maybe some people feel like time moves way too fast and they kind of want to, slow it down, stay in their little bubble for a little bit and
Yeah.
before they jump on to the next thing. And I think that's what really cemented the fact that this is what I want to do, because this is the way that I feel, and this is what I want to bring to the world, and this is what I feel like I'm here to do.
So do you feel that time is going slower or faster ever since
Fast,
then?
all the way. I feel like I'm always trying to catch up to everything, to time, and it's a little bit less nerve wracking now than it was when I was in high school, because it's kind of like when you're in high school, you feel like as soon as you leave, you have to have everything figured out, or else what are you gonna do?
Mhm.
Uh, and I didn't necessarily have like going to college in mind when I was leaving high school. So I was like literally kind of panicking at that time. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily great at school either. So I didn't have the best grades. But I don't know. It's definitely a lot less nerve-wracking now, but I definitely feel like, I mean, a year has passed since I moved to Austin. I feel like I just moved last month.
And then going back into like the whole high school thing, what's it called? I went from like a STEM school to just,
Yeah.
regular communications because I just like I liked STEM, but the problem
Hmm.
was I just didn't like the work because it was just too much. It was too
So much.
hard. It was too rigorous. I just hated it. So and I've always wanted to do communications too as like, some sort of passion because I felt like I needed to showcase that in some sort of way. And
Yeah.
I was always with like the radio station from like I guess since I was 12, like going into like now. So I just needed to, do something within that field. And I can like when it comes to parents having like a certain set goal in mind, they
Hmm.
wanted me to become an architect because I also like
Oh
drawing and
yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like I like drawing, but it's not the reason why I want to, go into that.
Yeah, I didn't take into account all the math I would have to do for.
Even free cal wasn't fun. I didn't like free cal. I was
Yeah.
like, if I can't even do free cal, I can't even do calculus or anything like that. Just like, no, I can't. Talk to me about you have a new project that's coming up.
Mhm.
You have already pre-saved. Do you want to talk about your new EP that's coming out? It's called the Prescribed Project.
Yes, so it is the Prescribed Project, and this is also kind of what birthed my interest for music, like in a big way, because I actually started writing this project with a song called Relapse, which is already out.
Mhm.
But that one, it just came out this last summer, but I literally wrote that song about 5 years ago now. And so this project has kind of been in my mind for the past 5 years, me trying to make it. But I didn't really necessarily know a whole lot about music back then. So I would write these things, try to record them with friends who had like gear or like recording gear, because I didn't really
Mhm.
have anything at the time. And I was still in high school trying to figure it out. I still wasn't necessarily as good vocally or in the guitar as
Mhm.
as I wanted to be, but it was always there, and it was always a concept that I had. And I've been trying to make it for the past 5 years, and I think I went through making it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it just didn't pan out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was really heartbreaking. At one point, I was just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe this whole music thing just isn't for me. I don't know if I like, because I wasn't able to put this thing together. And it wasn't until I moved to Austin that things started taking shape and coming together. And that's really what I spent this past year
Mhm.
making, is just this catalog of songs that all meant a lot to me, with different types of feelings and moments that I went through these 5 years in the making of this project, all just kind of formed into the project itself and became something that is almost an insight of what my life looked like for the past couple years.
Mhm.
And it's been a lot of fun. I also had 10 foot overhead in the song, in one of the songs. Been there before, and that one was the last single before the project came out. And it's a great couple of guys. They actually live like uh here in Brownsville. When they were living here, they lived like down the road from me, so we would like work on this song
Oh
for
my
a
gosh.
whole lot. And it was a ton of fun, and we worked on it for so long. And yeah, I'm honestly just happy that I can say that this EP is finally coming out, and the way that I think it should have, because I didn't want to put it out until I felt like it was at a point where I was happy with it. And I can say I'm happy with it now, and I'm happy
Hmm.
that it's coming out.
It's kind of like what's it called? I don't want to say fake it till you make it because there's like a certain amount of limit to that saying because you don't want to lie to yourself. But if you put yourself
Uh-huh.
in a different environment where you can be able to, make something of yourself, I
Oh
feel
yeah,
that that is when it applies to where you like fake until you
definitely.
make it, like move somewhere, get some
Hmm.
different like inspirations because like I know it's really hard to make music, especially when you're
Hmm.
just trying to like make something work for so long. You're gonna have to keep
Yeah,
trying and getting at it. And it's really hard to do so. Mm.
it definitely, but it was definitely a game changer once I moved to Austin, and met this really great friend of mine who his name is Caleb Lemons, and he had a studio over there. And I met him just like at an open mic, because when I got there, I just started playing a whole bunch of open mics every day. And once we got together, it just kind of clicked. Like we were just able to make this project like the way that I had always envisioned it. It was a ton of fun.
It's crazy, especially like sometimes you don't even need yourself. Sometimes you have to have like a different like a mindset. Like you have to have somebody there just criticizing it.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
I need someone to tell me, like, because I'm just I need someone to tell me stop overthinking it. It's
Hmm.
okay. It's not that bad, you know. Because I'll listen to a song and I'm like, okay, this is great. I'll listen to it again and I'm like, I'll listen to it a third time and I'm like, this sucks. Let's just throw it away. Let's do it again. I need
Yeah.
someone to be like, stop that. It's all right. Just don't listen to it for 1,000 times. It's probably not as bad as you think it is. Come back again tomorrow and see how you feel.
Going
Mhm.
into what's it called? I know that you started music 2020. Was this during the
Yeah.
pandemic or was this like when was this?
I was playing shows with my band before the pandemic. We got together in 2019, like December of 2019.
Hmm.
And then when the pandemic came, we kind of like we had some shows lined up, and obviously they all got canceled, and we were just kind of like at a standstill, not really doing anything. We were in lockdown, and while we were in lockdown, we were obviously so bored, and I was just like not really able to do anything. And
Hmm.
that was actually the year I graduated high school, which is funny because I graduated by default. And then when when that came around, I was just like, I really just want to do something. And I that's when kind of the birth of Letters from the Spaceman happened, when it was just I didn't really have a lot of gear. All I had was like my acoustic guitar and like a keyboard. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm kind of like, we have nothing to do. Let me just go ahead and write a couple songs. And so I wrote some songs, recorded them, and put them out at like a little acoustic, like really low budget project of like just a bunch of demos. And it was definitely fun. It was definitely an experience. I wouldn't say that it's the sound that I'm going for today,
Hmm.
but it was definitely fun for what it was, and it was almost like a little time capsule of that like pandemic era and all that creative energy of just being stuck inside and not having anything to do and just doing something.
I know that it was one of the EPs too. How does the later EP compare to the new EP in terms of like theme or thematic
It's
concept?
it's night and day. I think I had a lot of thoughts about the Letters from the Spaceman EP after it came out, because I was definitely going through a bit of a sound change.
Hmm.
And I was just like, I even contemplated like, I don't know if I still want to keep that EP out there. But I eventually was just kind of like, no, it's all right. Like, I'll keep it out there, and it's a great little time capsule, and it's a great, like, the change, even though it's a pretty big change in thematics and like sonically.
Hmm.
It's all right, because I was a kid when I made that one. I was in high school.
Hmm.
I was, just experiencing life as a kid, and those songs were almost what life looked like through the eyes of a teenager.
Hmm.
And all of these, a couple years later, you know, being able to experience life as an adult and growing up and seeing things differently. It's kind of that same kid kind of grew up and saw things a little bit differently and lived real life for a couple of years and then came out
Yeah.
with some new music in a way.
I noticed that what's it called? The newest EP also has a really dark theme. Is there any
Mhm.
story behind that?
There's definitely a lot of story. This is the Prescribed Project is an idea that is not limited to the Prescribed Project EP.
Oh, is it
This
bringing
is
back like oldies or like how wait, what do you mean by that?
no. It's so I I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag now and say I'm currently working on an album here when I'm in
Oh,
Brownsville.
shoot.
And it has a lot to do with the Prescribed Project because when I think about music, I think about the other thing that I really, really love, which is film. I've never really directed a movie or anything like that, but I've always had these ideas and I've always had these stories and concepts. And I think about albums the same way I think about movies.
Mhm.
And I'm just kind of like, wouldn't it be cool if you were able to sit down and watch an album like a movie? So what if like this taking the concept of concept albums and forming it into a narrative of a collection of projects that
Mhm.
all fit together to make one story. I'm not
That's
going to tell you
amazing.
what that story is, but I think it's something special, and I think it's a way that I see myself. I see these projects as not just albums or not just EPs, but as movies.
Mhm.
Who, if you put them all together, you're gonna get a story out of it. A
See a lot
character
of
go
artists
through.
doing that now because they're taking that direction. I mean, it's always been there for like
Mhm,
forever, but the thing is more
definitely.
people are honing on that because of the fact that YouTube is a thing. And then they
Yeah.
create like MVs and like what's it called? A lot of film aspects to go with their music. So I admire that. That is amazing. I hope
Thank you.
that
Thank
what's
you.
it called? You take that somewhere because I've been seeing some of the teasers that's coming out because it's
Mhm.
coming out next Friday, and by the time this what's it called comes out, yeah, next Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming out November 18th, and I'm so excited. This is definitely almost like a palate taste of like what's to come.
I hate to cut you short really quick, but we
Mhm.
are out of our time for this interview. So thank you so much, Vince, for joining us here on RGV Rocks. Do you have like any shout outs or any social media plugins you wanna like give out?
Yeah, you can go ahead and follow me at Vince Spano Music on pretty much any platform. I think I'm most on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. I don't know how to use TikTok, but I'm on there. Um, but yeah, just shout out to just everybody who helped me with this project. Shout out to Caleb Lemons, my band, and my parents for having me and for supporting
Oh,
me.
that's awesome. So what's it called? Pre-save, what's it called? The pre-prescribed project?
Yes, the
EP?
Prescribed Project.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. It comes out next Friday, if I believe so. I think it's next Friday. Yeah, next Friday on
Yes.
the 18th. Is it gonna be available like at midnight or when?
Yeah, it'll be available at midnight. So Friday, 12 a.m. at any music platform, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever else exists, it should all be there. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to check it out and see what you guys think.
Yes. And if you guys what's it called? If you've heard it here first, the pre-prescribed project is coming out on the 18th next week. If you guys are tuning in for whatever date you are tuning in for whatever reason, it is November 18th, 2022. It comes out that day at midnight. So be sure to check it out. What's it called? I've listened to a couple of your songs and I personally believe that it should be like on Netflix or anything like that or any like
Thank you.
platform
Thank
like
you.
within like movies and film and stuff like that because it genuinely does sound like a major motion soundtrack. And
Oh,
I
thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate
I
that.
feel like it should be on that. So if you want to hit him up, any contact informations for like people that want to book you for whatever reason.
Yeah, if you I have all my contact information on my Instagram. There's my email, uh, and should have my phone number there as well. If you guys are wanting to contact me for booking or anything like that, just go ahead and go to my Instagram and it'll say my contact page, and you can just contact me through any of those and I'll go ahead and answer you.
Anyway, thank you so much, Vince. So for
Thank you,
joining us
Skylar.
here on RGV Rocks, we'll probably what's it called? Get you later on in the show, probably like from a year now or a couple of months from now, just to see how that's doing. Because I'm excited
Okay.
for that new album that's probably gonna come out after the EP.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna start working on it very soon.
Mhm. For the people that would like to check us out or learn more about what we do on our show, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks, and Twitter is Rocks RGV. Once again, Facebook and Instagram is just RGV Rocks, and Twitter is Rocks RGV. We also have a Patreon account, so not only are you gonna subscribe for $5 for like a special shout out, but that special $5 goes to the station, which goes to other platforms that bring us other podcasts on our station. So not only are you helping us out, you're also helping out the whole station. You can easily donate those $5 directly to the station in the donation links below, or you can just donate to our Patreon. You also get exclusive perks such as like behind the scenes footage, some stuff that we cut out of their show sometimes because we can't really make the 30 minutes every single time.
Yeah.
So what's it called? Be sure to subscribe to our Patreon if you guys haven't. For everybody that is listening in, I finally can say a shout out. Shout out to everybody listening to KCYP. You guys are amazing. It's already been 100 episodes in 4 years. Can you believe that? It's kind of freaking me out because you just
Nice.
made the start of season, I think, 5. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Vince, on being the first episode
Season
for season
5.
5.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I want to especially remind everybody, thank you for listening to our humble little show. We'll be here next time on KCYP 97.7 FMLP, The City. See ya.
See you guys later.